Believe it or not, this is about my third attempt now because I'm still getting used to my new computer. So sorry about that, people. Now, it's been a funny old week for me this week. For anybody who's not aware, I'm now standing for election for the Police and Crime Commissioner in Bedfordshire with the English Democrats. Now, that's kind of opened up a whole new kind of conversation, so to speak, on my Facebook, which is a good thing. I think talking is a really important thing. But one of the things that I've noticed was that one of the guys who's an English Democrat is a black guy, and this had started the whole conversation of was that he wasn't English. And apparently he's not English because he's not in his DNA. Well, I'm going to make my position very clear on this with regards to this judging somebody by their skin colour, which I quite frankly find abhorrent because I've never judged anybody by their skin colour and I'm not about to start now. Sorry, my cup's falling over in front of me. As far as I'm concerned, if you are born in England and you see yourself as English, then you are as English as I am. If you're prepared to stand up and defend the very rights of people in England, then you are as English as I am. Now, this guy turned around and said to me, because of the DNA, it was impossible, and that basically just because you're born in a stable doesn't make you a horse, which I've heard this argument many, many times. However, let me make this very, very clear. I have in my family, when I did, my mum's auntie, cousin did a bit of a family tree. And what we found was that I have a great Uncle Abner. So therefore, in my DNA makeup is Jewish. I also have a great grandfather who is called Tom Jones, believe it or not, and was Welsh. So there is Welsh in my DNA. I also know on my father's side they were Irish. So there is Irish in my DNA. But when I asked this guy prior to telling him that, am I English? Do you see me as English? He said, oh, yes, of course you're English. But if you trace my DNA, your argument would be that my DNA does not make me English. See, for me, what makes you English? If you're born in England and you love England and you want England to be treated fairly, you're as English as anybody else. That's what an Englishman is, or an Englishwoman. Now, just because this man is black, I think he has every right to be a proud black Englishman. And anybody who thinks that he doesn't, quite frankly, it's because of the colour of his skin, and therefore you must be a racist. And me, myself, I don't have a racist bone in me at all. Now, the other thing that I want to get very clear, I have friends who are Irish, I have friends who are Welsh, I have friends who are Scottish. In fact, two very good friends of mine are like family to me, and they're both Scottish, and they both understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to try and explain in very simple terms why I'm doing what I'm doing. When I started to look into it a little further than I had previously, I realised that there were things that are just wrong. For example, we have a Scottish Parliament, an Irish Parliament and a Welsh Parliament. We don't have an English Parliament. Now that means that the Scottish, the Irish and the Welsh politicians, not the people, politicians, they all get to make decisions on English law, on the way that England is treated. We get no say on how Scotland, Ireland or Wales are treated. Therefore, before you've even took a breath, there's no equality there. That's totally unjust and unfair. Now, for example, if you're Scottish, you don't have to pay tuition fees if you go to university, etc., etc. Now, if you come to England, you can still go to university and still not have to pay any kind of tuition fees. But the English have to pay tuition fees, yet you pay the same tax. So I fail to see how that is fair. Prescription charges in Wales, they don't pay prescription charges. Yet again, we pay the same taxes. If you're in England, you must pay prescription charges. Kids' school meals, for an example, get approximately 43p per child in England. But in Scotland, you get £1 per child per head. And overall, when the taxpayers' money is collected as a collective and then divvied up among England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, English get less than Ireland, Scotland and Wales. Well, I'm sorry, but that is an injustice and that should not be permitted to carry on. And the only way we can make a difference is if we have an English Parliament. And I think that's only fair. I think if we're going to do this, let's do this with equality. I believe in equality. I believe in fairness to everybody. So this is one of the reasons that I'm doing what I'm doing. There's also the fact that as English, we're told. It's not, people sit there and go, well, who said you can't be English? Well, the government are telling us we can't be English. Look on any hospital form. The option you're given is white British, but I'm English. Go to Scotland, look at their forms, it'll say whether you're Scottish or not. Same for Ireland, same for Welsh. Why are we being told in England? Why are we tolerating a government that treats English people as second rate to anybody else? Now, I know that together as one unit, we are stronger as United Kingdom. I believe in the United Kingdom. But I believe in the right that if you are Scottish and you wish to be recognised as Scottish first and foremost, you have that right. Same if you are Welsh or Irish. And if you want to call yourself British, you also have that right. But I'm being told as an English woman, I do not have the right to call myself English. Well, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. Okay, so that's why I decided to stand with the English Democrats, because I actually believe that what they're saying is right. And that doesn't mean to say that there won't be things that they'll say or do and I won't agree with it. And trust me now, I'll be the first one to open my mouth, and if I think it's wrong, I'll say something. And this is something else that I've come to realise is everybody talks about wanting an honest politician. But I have had a few criticisms, well, all politicians are liars. Well, in that case, give somebody a chance who's an average Joe, who hasn't been churned out of some posh university with a pound note voice, that will give you the voice of the general public, and who has known what it's like to be in adverse situations, because I have. Because that's the only way you're going to get a true honest politician, is to give somebody a chance to be that true honest politician. Now, I may not win, but I sure as hell give it a damn good shot. And I think that's the main thing. I want the right for the Scots to be able to fly their flag in Scotland on their buildings, which they do. So do Wales and so do Ireland. But I want to fly my St George's Cross. I want my St George's Cross to be flown on buildings. I want that right to be able to do that. And I fail to see why that should be such a bone of contention with people. And why is it that the minute that somebody pulls out St George's Cross, the first things you're going to see is everybody going, oh, racist. No. I'm not a racist, but I am proud of my nationality. I am proud to be an English woman, part of the United Kingdom. I don't see why that should be such a bad thing. I will fight for everybody's rights to be recognised as Scottish or as Welsh or as Irish, but I want the same rights in return, and I don't think that's a bad thing. And anybody who wants to judge a person as being English by the colour of their skin, seriously, you're a racist. And that I have no time for. I am very pleased that there is a black man who's prepared to say, I am a proud black English man, and fair play to him for doing so. And do I think that there's a history of him? I've seen people going, oh, well, he chops and he changes and he does this and he's gone from one party. Well, maybe he didn't find a party that suited him. I don't know. I don't know the man personally. What I will say is this, that if I'm going to do this and you want change in the police, if I can get elected in Bedfordshire, you're guaranteed, I tell you now, political correctness will play no part in policing. The police will be told to police properly, fairly for everybody. There will be no pandering and appeasing. I will say to the police, you have the right to do your job within the remits of the law and to use the law in the correct manner. You will start protecting the people the way that they deserve to be protected. And you know what? I think most police officers would be thankful to have somebody that turned around and said to them, well, actually, no, you don't have to pander and appease. I had a police officer contact me, ex-police officer. He's an ex-UK response. Now, I know he's got no problem because he gave me screenshots, which he was quite happy for me to put out. And by his own admission, was told not to arrest Muslims or Asians that have committed criminal damage. They would get hoax 999 calls, and that they will go into the area where their police vehicles would be bombed with bricks, but yet they were told to make no arrest for fear of causing racial tension. They were told not to arrest them when they committed a driving offence. Well, you see, me, if I'm voted, and I'm not saying I will be, but I'll give it a really good run for my money, because if I get voted, my attitude will be this: I don't care what ethnicity you are. You break the law, the full force of the law will be used. There will be no pandering to any minority. I don't care who they are. The police will be given permission to do their job. And that's exactly how it should have been from the word go. So I want all of these things, and whether I get them or not remains to be seen. But make no mistake, I mean no offence to anybody who is Irish, Scottish or Welsh by standing with the English Democrats and supporting what they stand for, and for standing for election for the crime and the Police and Crime Commissioner's job. I'm doing it because I believe in right over wrong. That's what I believe. So, for now, I wish everybody a wonderful Christmas, a very happy New Year. You all take care, have a good drink, try not to get yourself too drunk that you don't remember it, but enjoy it, celebrate it, and I'll see you all probably just before or just after Christmas. You take care. Bye for now.